also host now. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I've posted I've posted a number of documents. One on the platform of the Family Ta'alim, and this has to do with the connection between our eyes and our genitals via Quran 24:30-31, where Allah commands men and women to lower their gazes and guide their chastity. And that also goes to explain why the women should do more, because they are the ones that men will look at. How they should not appear, how they should not afflict the men who must look at them. At the end of that ayah 31, Allah says, وَتُوبُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا أَيُّهَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, and all of you do tawbah. All of you believers do tawbah. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, so that you'll be successful. And then I've also connected intimacy, sex, with mental health. And I've reached the door of a conclusion, which all of you will help me to open, that any home where there is no adequate sex, the home is sick, because the two of them, husband and wife, are sick. Inadequate sex causes depression. Sex is also a solution. It's like food, it's like medicine. If it is taken in excess, it becomes poison. If it is not taken, it kills. But if it is taken as required, it becomes medicine. I've posted these documents. AI has connected our looks, our eyes with our genitals, and sex with mental health. What we have almost concluded is that most conflicts at home is as a result of poor libido, and it makes people to neglect each other if we have introduced virus into it. I make bold to say, any man that thinks he can do without sex is already depressed. If you are not going through depression, you cannot do without sex. Any woman that says she can do without sex, she's depressed. While it is easy for the woman to shut down, like the woman that can seek sulh in ayah 128 of Surah An-Nisa, she will simply shut down and avoid divorce. She will prefer to be in that marriage without sex, without attention, with abandonment and neglect. It happened to Sauda radiallahu anha. And this is a prelude, a step towards divorce. Ayah 129, Allah says, you cannot do justice among women, but don't abandon one and hang her. If Allah forbids hanging a woman in polygyny, what does it do? How does he react? How does he respond? How does he reward a man who has only one wife and neglects her? Yeah, finally, ayah 130, Surah An-Nisa says it will eventually lead to divorce. And if they separate, it's okay. I've posted the ayat, about 5 of them, on the platform, on this chat room. Whoever has contribution to make now, let him make. But we want factual, truthful contribution. Most of our problems are due to sex. Work will make it worse for us to look, not to be able to lower our gaze. When we don't lower our gaze, we don't control our genitals. We don't guard our chastity. The Prophet says there are 8 types of zina. The zina of the eyes, that is the look. And the first gaze is pardoned. The second gaze is zina. How many of us do not commit this at work? Social media will make it worse. Although pornography is a kind of medicine for men in depression, but it worsens women's depression because masturbation for women is not as good. Even vibration is not as good as the real thing. And at any rate, it is better for the woman to just shut down than to try to wake herself up, walk herself up, because she will eventually become desperate to have a man, failing which she will go into depression. The man that doesn't want to go into depression, does not want to commit zina, can use porn. But this porn, when it becomes excessive, when it becomes addictive, it becomes poison too. And we have treated so many cases. It will eventually result into depression. It's like taking alcohol. When you take alcohol, you are happy momentarily and you forget the problem. But when the effect of the alcohol leaves you, you go back worse to your problem. So there are these 2 regulations that we violate because work and social media will make it impossible not to violate. We look, we don't lower our gaze. It's not possible. In fact, the women will assist you to look at them. And the woman that goes out to violate Ayah 31 of Surah An-Nur, dressing to kill, this woman ordinarily will not dress to appeal to her husband, to attract her husband. She's not going to dress good at home. She's going to be just any kind. This woman is in depression. She goes out elegantly, but she doesn't enjoy good looks and she doesn't enjoy herself looking good at home. And she doesn't enjoy herself because she's not being looked at. It is suggested in an hadith that the woman should dress for her husband so that she would seduce him. But when will he have the time? Is it Saturday when we go for Nikai, MSS, Dawa program, or Sunday when we go to Askar, from Askar to meeting, from meeting to meeting, from meeting till night? So the 7 days are filled up with activities. When are we going to spare time and spend quality time with our families? I beg to say rather that most families are in depression because they are not enjoying sex and they are denying. Like I said before, a man that feels that he can do without sex is already in depression. A woman that wants to forget about it is already in depression. What do? We create time. The sins we must not avoid to commit because it will make our work good is looking. You have to look. But the solution is tubu ilallahi jamia ayyuhal mu'minun. When you come back from work, do tawbah consciously for all your interactions, all your mischievous interactions, whether it leads to zina of the eyes, zina of the legs, zina of the mouth, zina of the hand, and zina of the social media. Many people enjoy talking to other people's wives. Many women also enjoy talking to other people's husbands. All these are sins. And don't When you fuck people's voices and enjoy it, Allah knows. Wallahu ya'lam ma tasnaun. Allah knows what you do. That is the end of Ayah 30. Ayah 31. Tubu ilallahi jami'a ayyuhal mu'minun. All of you, do tawbah. So I want to stop here. I want to listen to you. Read the ayat. Ayah 30, 31, Surah An-Nur. Ayah 128 to 130, Surah An-Nisa. If Allah forbids desertion, neglect of a woman in polygamy, what does He want you to do with one wife that you neglect? Are you not committing a sin? When are you going to do tawbah? Are you going to continue to justify it? Let's talk to ourselves frankly. There are many people on this loop that can help us with their contribution tonight. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assist us to understand. Engineer Bashir Lawal is here, and so on. People with knowledge and experience are here. People who have been doing life coaching for as long as I know. Qasim Animal Sham is there. And where is Alaji Qasim Alabi? Is Alaji Qasim Alabi here? Let us talk to ourselves frankly. Don't let us use grammar to justify our shortcoming. Let us acknowledge our sins and ask Allah to forgive us. Once again, I leave the podium for everybody and anybody.
Yes, Alhaji Abdulrazak.
Haj Abdulrazak Abioye Adedayo, ọmọ imam. Bàbá wa ló ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ o, bàbá wa ló sọ pé ọmọ mi ní o, ìwọ náà sì mọ̀.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Aleykum salaam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sọ gbàgbé.
Sir, you help me, Magasa. Of all you posted today, it was the video that amazed me. It amazed me so much that a man is about to marry a divorcee, and it's amazing, sir, that the woman. You look at the way the man quoted her. You have been divorced for 5 years, and you have the document. You are divorced in the eyes of law. You have not divorced in the eyes of the ancestor. It means conversely, some people think they are divorced, but by Sharia they are not. People don't know the difference between separation and divorce. And secondly, sir, of all the verses you are going, I was reading the thing, I was looking at what the connection between the eye, the genitals, and the look and our hearts. It is to a man is the real thing. Is the real thing. For those of us who have been weekend husband in the last 10, 15 years, I told my students in one of the sessions that it had to pray that Allah direct my mind to my wife. Until today, women don't believe that I didn't have a wife in Lagos. Because at the higher level, there are seductions. To the extent that some of us don't eat even in the office. Because you don't know who to buy food for you. And you are here. So the life we live or the self-imposed affliction we give to ourselves, it's only we that can explain it. People that walk into your office deliberately, half naked, or the kind of catwalk that will make you think that, so are you calling me? So no, I'm not calling you. Can go. So at the executive level, you see where people sometimes fall. At the higher level, where people fall. Maybe those that are in your category, not even a junior staff, those that are in your category, directors. So everything starts from the looks. And like you said, women who will not dress for their husband will dress for another man. So I say, I'm only dressing to impress myself. My wife told me a story. A woman came to their office, one of their colleagues, and I said, wow, madam, you are looking good. Sir, but what did your husband say? That one, sorry, Sha. He was quoting her husband. When some people are admiring her in their office, in the class, in the school, men are admiring her. They don't say, I hope your husband is there. Sorry, And it happens to most of us too. Even when our wife dress well, we don't make comments. It's outside that will eulogize her. Say, madam, yeah, you're looking good. I hope it's your guy that bought this clothes for you, or it's Laji that bought it. But we somehow ignored even the looks, the dressing that they said they should dress for us. We ignore it sincerely. All of us are here. How many people admire their wife when they dress? Me, I fight when my wife said his son should come and draw the zip. I say, how can they draw zip for you? When I'm around. I say, no, wọn lè bá ẹ wọ zip ẹ̀yìn aṣọ ẹ nígbà tí wọ́n wà nílé. It's not possible now. When I'm not around, it's understandable. We're all men here. How can your children draw the zip for you when I'm around? So, sir, it's the truth. The Quran is saying that is the obvious thing. But we manage. And that's why we must continue to do that. But like you said, we manage. We're only managing to correct. Some women are even in your mind, you have already committed the sin. Because the look, the appearance to you, we are not angels, we are men. We are men. Your private part will rise no matter how much you try to control it. You only try to run away from that sin. So may Allah forgive us, sir. That is what I want to contribute. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very, very much. Let me quickly respond to the senior level seduction. The woman director, assistant director, manager, she has already lost her home. But she's a human being. She wants sex. She's desperate. Vibrator, like I said, many of them have vibrators in their bag. It cannot do the real work. So what they do is to look for anybody to seduce and to do it anywhere. They do quickie on a plane. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. On a plane. 1 hour flight. It is that bad. May Allah reward you abundantly. That's a response. Kasim Animation. Alaji Kasim Animation. Has he not unmuted now? Oh yeah, unmute. Kasim Animation is finding it difficult to unmute. While he's trying to unmute, can Oketokun try to unmute? He has unmuted. Alaikum salam.
You can hear me now. Yes, I had issue on muting myself.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Imam, for this fantastic work you are doing here. Let me just make two comments. Number one is to agree totally with Imam that sex is very important. In fact, it is the reason for marriage, like he has always said repeatedly. And that's to tell us that sex is, Islam is natural. It does not deceive us. And that is why when you engage people who are deep thinking, when you engage new converts who are intellectuals, they will tell you that Islam has provided answers to their questions, to their mysteries, to the difficult questions of life. They will tell you that Islam has provided answers to these difficult questions of life. And that's to tell us that you can run away from nature. Whatever theory you put together that is not natural, it will still crumble. So if we all agree that sex is the reason for marriage, it is very crucial and should not be neglected. The number 2 point I want to make is that one of the problems we do face if you find yourself engaging married couples who are having issue is that you'll find that even when couples are having sex, you may find in many cases where they are having sex and they are not enjoying it, especially for the woman. So you have cases of women in marriage not enjoying their sexual life. And that is also a big issue. So my thinking, my rumination is to ask, isn't the time ripe for us to begin to have the alternative to what the sex therapists do? I mean, practical Islamic sex therapy to fill this vacuum. I heard of a case where a brother that got married, he married as a virgin, the wife is a virgin, and then he couldn't do it. He was just innocent. And it took the involvement of a sheikh to come to their rescue, come to the apartment, stay behind the door, and then was giving them direction on how to do it. It was that bad. So the point I'm trying to make here is that we have many cases where people are having sex and they're not enjoying it, which is also a big problem, and that shouldn't we begin to have a way of addressing that as a community? Because the Muslim community has been saddled with many responsibilities in this age, where parents have failed to bring up their children properly. The task goes back to the Muslim community where they find themselves, where people have failed to learn economic stability, how to be economically viable. We blame the Muslim community and they are finding something to do about it, and all of this problem. So that's why I ask, isn't it time for us to begin to look in this direction? Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, that was, I'm sure Alhaji Qasim Alabi knows that this is the work we've been doing for how long now? Is there any day we don't do this work? Alhaji Qasim Alabi. We have been doing this for more than 30 years. And I have been doing this for more than 30 years.
Even today.
Yeah, even today. Even today, to me, even today, too. This is what we do. The problem is, if you don't tell us, we don't know.
Exactly.
If you don't tell us, we don't know. And Alhaji knows one case that I want to mention, covering the name of the person. He's an alim. He can't really do. And when Alhaji Qasim Alabi pushed the wife to me, I forced the wife to say what she probably didn't tell Alhaji Qasim. That we shouldn't bother about our husband marrying another wife. It is not marriage. It is a cover-up. And he's using the second marriage as a cover-up to avoid sex with the first wife. That the second wife needs sex now more than the first wife, but it's a cover-up because the man can't do. And the man will not acknowledge that he can't do because he already has second wife. I don't know whether Ustaz Badiwa is here, Imam Badiwa. Somebody in our area married second wife, whereas the first wife was suffering. But the first wife could not tell anybody because they had children. The question would be, how did you have children? How did you have children? If uncle is not doing well. So it's only until December, this last December, that we got to know that it's improving because Adenubu are embarrassed. So privately, is a publicly. If people don't tell us or they deny, they live in denial, we can't help them. But we can't make it public. For example, I've had to treat a professor's erectile malfunctioning due to diabetes with porn. I had to send some porns to the wife, and I asked the wife to watch the porn along with the husband at night when they are ready. And it worked for some time. After some time, the man now said, porn is haram. It is looking at other people's nakedness. He started quoting hadith. And I said, no problem. Discard all the porn. And I said, madam, take your husband to adult shop and buy vibrator. And do you know the person? You can't know the person. And I won't tell you where they are. So they bought a vibrator. So as the woman was using the vibrator in the presence of the husband, he got his erection. He removed the vibrator and started doing. And I've not had complaint. I don't ask people, how about that matter? Once you don't talk, your matter has been solved or it has got worse. So you don't ask somebody, that problem I solved for you last week, is it still there? I don't think, I may be wrong. I don't think it's right. Once you have solved a problem, to now when you kill your jembe. So thank you very much, Cousin Animation. That is the truth, the absolute truth. But we have gone to school. Social media tells us it's not all about sex, but our life tells us it is all about sex. So if you are not getting it, we can teach you. There is sex that can be enjoyed without coitus. It is quite possible. And if you have quick ejaculation, there's a way to do it. So that when you are ready, it is when you are ready that you enter, then both of you will enjoy it. But Muslims believe that these things are not Islamic. Whereas the Prophet ﷺ is one of the most romantic human being and great teacher. It teaches us at least 4 positions, 4 sex positions. And I've been using one for the last 28 years. I've been using one regularly for the last 28 years. And what do you want the Prophet to teach you? There's a whole book. I had this, not quite voluminous, but a whole book. I had this only about sex. But we want to concentrate on Akida, and we win homes. Alhamdulillah for that front. That front has consistently concentrated on family because that is the basis of everything. Many people that don't come are living in self-denial, and they will continue to complain. Hey, I want to share that, but are you addressing the real problem? The real problem is sex, and it cannot work if there is no resources. Wabima anfaku min amwalihim. Sex and money, not twins. So you can't have bola without dollar. If you have big bola, you must have big dollar. MashaAllah. So, Oketokun, Bismillah. If Oketokun is finding it difficult, can we have Alaji Kosim Alabi?
Yes, sir.
Sheikh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I agree with all those who have spoken before me that Muslims actually have a long way to go with respect to sex education, because we learn every day, but funny enough, we don't want to learn this aspect at all. Yes, like you said, there are issues outside there. Men and women, we need these things, sex, whether we like it or not. But the point is that we have to do it the way Allah and His Prophet have recommended. But what we do outside this becomes zina. The Quran says, "La takrabu zina, innahu kana fa'ishatan wa sa'a sabila." Do not get close to zina, because Allah knows that we are not angels; we are human beings. We go outside every day. We see women who are naked, who are even naked anyway, because we see them every day when they wear things. I see their nipples and what have you. We see their cleavages, and at times when you see all these things, it turns you on. But when you know that the fact that you have a woman at home, we equally have what they have, you see, the tension will go down in you. So I want to tell all of us here today that, look, we all experience this because we are not angels, we are human beings. Now, someone told me something recently. Our husband actually got married to his second wife, unknown to the person, anyway, to the woman, until like 9 or 10 months or thereabouts. And when I called the man in question, I questioned him, and I asked him, "Do you think what you have done is right?" He said, "Yes." I said, "No." I said, "By all standards, you, this man I see, you are not qualified to have a second wife." He asked, I said, "Yes." Because the issue is that I don't even think you have the means to take care of one wife, talk less of 2 wives. And I said, "You have me money." He said, "Yes." So you are owing me this amount of money. You haven't paid me. And you still have this guts to go and marry a second wife. He explained, blah, 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 blah. I said, "No. You see, what I'm going to do?" Because number one, the deed has been done. So I was trying to do damage control. And I said, "Look, the best thing that you can do now is to go back and ensure you make peace with your wife. In the past, you have not been a good husband." He was saying, because the woman sexually is not. I said, "It's not." And I told him, "Mr. Man, by the time you are 60, oh my, now, or we are saying to Mama now. So make the best use of what you actually have now and enjoy it together now. I'm not saying that it's not your right to marry a second wife, but do it well. Not you, but today we look for flimsy excuse to be the excuse to go out there and commit adultery one way or the other, And I want to suggest that the best way out of this particular problem here is to first, ensure that we apply that verse of the Quran in our lives as Muslims. That your wife or your wives, they will be sufficient for you at any point in time. If you want variety, go and marry second wife legally now. But the question now is, do you actually have the means to marry a second wife? But at times we step the boundary. We don't in any way. How do I put it now? We don't set boundaries in a way. That is why we fall into error. You can imagine a man who regularly, chats with vulnerable women. Nobody's there with you. Yes, you are not there. Even women as well. You chat with vulnerable men as well. Nobody's there with you because we are human beings. Even chatting can trigger some things in you as well. You must set boundaries that, look, when you get to particular stage, just stop it. One day I was in US. A woman called me. I've been trying to avoid the woman. She now said, by mistake, I said that's what I said as your wife. I said second wifey for where? I caught it. I said, "I'm not your second wifey." But if I've allowed the person to go ahead, it can send signal to her as well. So I advise all of us here today that, look, the best way to avoid all this issue is to set boundaries at any point in time. Like I mentioned before, we are human beings, we are not angels. When we see things that, when we see all those things at times outside there, it triggers some things in us. And if that is not taken, we will call it fall. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Alaji Imam Sheikh Qasim Alabi. May Allah make it better understood than it was presented. The main headache to Imam is probably the fact that people consider Masna as solution, but while it is indeed. Imam's worry is, are they capable? My own worry is, if it is their qadar, what can we do? What can we do? Case we close. We just allow case to close. um, I do not think it is possible for anybody to do anything if it is not in his qadar. May Allah continue to forgive us and provide husbands for those who need to have husbands. Sometimes the masna is not for passion, it's not for love, it's not for desire, it's not because you want more sex. But sometimes, for example, on my street, there are 3 widows. 2 of them are Muslims, very good women. One of them is very young. For certain reasons, um, she's a daughter. Now, genotype issue, we make it no go area. Now, one Taufik came to me a few days ago, giving me good reason why he must marry second wife. I suggested this woman and he said, no. She's Ibira. She has 2 children. She wanted one with one child, and the one child must be a woman, must be a girl. And this one has 2 boys. Most importantly, she's a widow. I said, widow is the best. You want to marry divorcee? Divorcee will divorce again. Widow will reach last stop. And she will be more careful. She will take you as a gold prize. She said, no, he will be thinking that he's sleeping with a dead man's wife. I have never had this perspective before. Apparently, this man wanted me to link him with a particular Fulani girl of his description. That is why he went to somebody who knows me, who can link me, and so on. There are many mischiefs that men do. Many mischiefs that men do. And that's what I think is worrying Alaji Qasim Alabi, but nothing to worry about. May Allah make it easy. Qadar, even if he's not capable, and the woman too is not buoyant, what can be done, sir? If it is really Qadar and not a fofa, Allah will provide. If you go back to Surah Nur, the first ayah Allah says, marry for those who are single among you, who are marriageable, and so. But let those who have no means restrain themselves until Allah provides for them. This is not about second wife anyway, but it is about marriage at all. Even this second wife, third wife, fourth wife thing we are talking about, it may become necessary, if not obligatory, in future to make people marry widows so that the community will support, even if it's not capable. These widows must remarry. They must remarry. Otherwise, it is fitna. Once a widow shuts down, half of her life is gone. And she can't live well again. We must intentionally do this. We must be intentional about making the widows happy. It is not their fault that their husbands died. Why must we make them suffer by not struggling to make it happen again in their life? However, my daughter, I insist, everything is Qadar. Everything is Qadar. If it is Qadar, it will be very clear it is Qadar. Wallahu alam. Okay, let's see how we on Let's see how we unmute Oketokun.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's why I didn't call you Asanat. I know it is you.
Yeah.
Go
No,
ahead,
thank
go
you very much. Thank you. Now, I want to look at it from the two perspectives. One, the issue of technology, and second, our culture. From the issue of the technology, I want us to be very careful about the way the internet or the social media, let me be direct, is directing our lives today as Muslims. We have to be very careful because of what we see on the social medias. And the sexual stimulus is the same thing, stimulus is the same thing as the other senses in the body. Just like when we appreciate nature, when we crave for food, these are psychological things. And the more you expose yourself to the triggers or the triggers as we would refer to them, there will always be a receptor in you and there will always be a response. We have to control the number of what we watch on social medias. And there are ways we can do that. If we don't know, we should ask. Because of my own kind of work, I'm always 24 hours on the internet. But I can be on the internet for many years without seeing a single porno because I have already controlled my network. Because they will come, whether you will go there or not. But I don't see them. In my home, we have internet, but I've controlled what can come into our home and what can not come there, what my children can watch and what they cannot watch. So these things need education, because if you are prevented from seeing those things, definitely the level of the urge in you will also be controlled. Secondly, the issue of our culture. Just as we are talking about the communal effort, you will see that the widows, they don't suffer in Yoruba culture because somebody will be there to take care of them. The same thing is supposed to be like that in Islam, but we are having issue maybe because of our education and because of the fear, a lot of things we have heard about. Because this issue we are discussing now, I don't think it was a social problem then when we are still in the days of our fathers. We have people that have many wives, but they are taking care of them. But you won't see women coming out to now display what is not supposed to be displayed because there is a rule and regulation in the society. I think we have lost this as Muslims and as a community. Then we need to reenact this so that we can have control about ourselves. Because whatever you don't control will later on control you. That is the way I've seen it. But this also, because as you have seen, I've also had that course to mediate in a lot of marriages. And even in my own, because I discovered that education is very, very important. If you know how to do it. There was a day we were discussing the issue of this ayah where Allah says, leave their bed when they are not listening to you. And I asked the question, she was too much, she tell you that cannot do. Now want to use sex as a weapon. So we are just wasting your time. It won't have any effect. But if the wife knows that she's losing something, if you stop that thing, definitely she will correct herself because she don't want to lose that pleasure. But when you don't know how to do it, how are you going to do it? So the sense of the education, another thing I ask some people, you were saying when we go out, we see all these things, but we don't see it in our spouse. Why? Most times, even when we want to do it, we off light. Many of us, even in our culture, I don't know how we imbibed it. When we want to do it, we're always in the darkness. Then how will you appreciate each other? If you don't appreciate your wife, when you see her in that mood, when you see her in that reaction, when you see her physically in that node, then that is when you will appreciate what you have. But if it's every time, you don't even see it, you only sense it, you only perceive it, then you can't appreciate what you have. I think we need to look at that area too. That is it haram to do it when light is on, in order to appreciate each other and to appreciate what Allah has given us. Lastly, this is another thing that always comes to my mind. We are reaping the research of some people in terms of adult toys, vibrators we are talking today, the pornography, films we are talking today. But as Muslims, is it ethical, Islamically, for Muslims to do this thing? To say, okay, my research is on vibrators, or my research is, I want to teach people how to do this thing. Then we want us to explain it explicitly without hiding anything. But we are enjoying it too. But can we as Muslims, are we justified to enjoy what we cannot do as Muslims? Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, thank you very much, Sheikh Abdullah Hakim. Definitely, the last question should be taken discreetly, and it should be linked with control of technology. Like I said, even though porn could be medicine for certain traumatic issues, it could also become poison. Just like social media generally could be a source of education, entertainment, relaxation. It could relieve you of tension and stress and so on, but it could also add to your stress and trauma. So I thank you very much for this, and I want to underline it. Everybody should have a way of controlling social media exposure. Many people will send messages to me on WhatsApp, and I will just ignore them. Not because I want to ignore, but because I go to WhatsApp only when I have something to do there. And when I'm a bit stressed, I go to no dull moment when I'm stressed. And you cannot just expect me to be on WhatsApp 24/7. Many people have no discipline about the internet. Thank you very much for that warning. Let me tell you that there is absolutely nothing fundamentally wrong with any tech-assisted therapy for sexual issues. The Prophet told us in lots of things about it, but we cannot make it public. We cannot make it public because people who have no understanding will blackmail us and trouble will start. So they will start saying Dawa Front is doing kufru. It is not kufru, but this is the only thing they know. So we can be discreet about it. So let us discuss. Let us discuss. Finally, grandma, mommy, Global Amira, the only female voice today. Can you
Assalamu
hear me?
alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I just got myself unmuted now.
Alaikum salam.
Ọlọ́run bá lọ́rẹ̀ mi ìmáàmù wa o. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ ṣípẹ́ nínú ìdùnnú náà àlàáfíà ara. Yorùbá sọ pé àìsíbẹ̀ láì bá wọn dá sí. In as much as I want to agree with all the speakers, I just want to observe that there are certain things that we take for granted in the West, and they take it seriously in the North. From the little experience I have, Northern women have first hand, second hand, third hand, fourth hand, fifth hand, up to 10th hand value. So at any given time, when any man says, Aure Yakare, that is not the end of the life of the woman. So I want us to know that in as much as it is very, very important that we should look at the widows and help them, I want us to also look at divorcees too. Not all divorcees are bad, but qadar. Like somebody was telling me a situation where an elder sister, the person is known to Prof. She was telling me a situation whereby a couple wanted, a man wanted divorce, but the woman did not want it. So all entreaties, all appeal and whatever, this man just insisted, okay, kí ni nǹkan tó ṣe pàtàkì, gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tó sọ yìí, there are things that you can. But the man insisted that the woman had to go. So what happens to that woman? It is not her fault that she's finding herself in that situation. So I want us to be balanced. Yes, widows need assistance, they need help. Single mothers need assistance too. Divorcees, they are humans too, and they have feelings. So if we now concentrate on the widows and we don't take the divorcees into consideration, we are still having another wahala. So what you don't want is for them to be attracting you. If they cannot do it under normal circumstances, you know, Imam, you know what they can do. You know what Kayamata can do. So if you don't want all that people to go into that angle of shirk, then we need the Muslim community should take it seriously in looking at the plight of those people. May Almighty Allah continue to keep our homes. May Almighty Allah continue to ease our affairs. May He continue to enlighten us and make Islam better for us and beneficial here and in the hereafter. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, that's Grandma. I think some of the comments could be understood better by me, and I want Grandma to let me use the terminology of the youth. Calm down. I want Grandma to calm down. Yes, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa yọsẹ̀ lẹ́kù níkọ̀ọ̀kan. For now, what is most urgent to the emergency is the widow. The divorcee will follow quickly because once we take care of the reasons for divorce, we will be able to take care of divorcees. However, I live in the north. I know what Kayamata can do. I know what Grandma is saying, that they have second-hand values. But let me tell you very sincerely, marriage is business in the north. Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, marriage is business. They make money. They can marry for 2 years. They are not calling it what is it? This sheer marriage, temporary marriage, but they marry to steal, and they also Takia. What? Remind me again.
Mutia.
Muta. Muta is not really muta, but these girls are terrible. They are terrible, and everybody knows. And the men also know what they are into. They just want to taste them and throw them away. And their consequent and other marriages are nothing to write home about. I know it very well. You're also a victim, Grandma, and we are waiting. So let us close this. National coordinator and the coordinator of the Ta'alim, I'm done. Akulu Kauli was I thank everybody. Let's come together again next week to do it before we break for Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan to everybody. Well, we can't see the national coordinator here again. Maybe network has thrown him out. I think you can conveniently close for this week, sir. Imam, closing prayer, sir.
ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم ربنا ظلمنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.